Okay, hold on. Talking to the microphone. What did you bring me?
Brought you a strawberry banana slushie and your favorite sandwich, Ox, the Pizza Right.
Sorry, fellas. I'm imbibing. This is one of the things you get at the Benton County Fair. Jerry Relph, by the way, candidate for Senate, is also here. Hi, Jer.
How you doing today?
Good. Thanks for coming over.
Well, thanks for having me.
You're going to hate me, aren't you? Look at this.
Look
I'm
at
going
this
in. You have
temptation.
no idea how badly I need this right now.
We didn't finish the question of what is this missing, if you didn't know it was a candidate.
We're getting to it. We're getting to
okay.
it. All right, there. I just had to sample this made right cuisine. Yeah, have some whipped cream. There you go. Okay, what's it missing? What isn't here that would normally be in this? What would tip you off that this is a fish house? Hi, gang. Folks are coming in and touring it. There's something conspicuously absent from this place that I did not notice until about an hour ago.
Why?
Yep. What would normally be
biff.
in something like this? Well, there is. I mean,
is a biff.
there's a closet for a biff anyway. Yeah, you're close. So there's a TV hookup, right? Coax and the 3 RCA jacks, plug-ins everywhere, a recharge station for USB ports and everything else, stove, microwave. There's something that isn't
Where's
here.
the furnace?
Well, it looks like they've thought of everything.
I don't know. Is there a furnace here?
There's a thermostat.
I think that's a furnace. That might be a furnace underneath the stove there. I think that's probably what that is. Yeah, it looks like there's a vent.
I give up.
I'm kind of used to the old stoves with the pipe going out the roof. And
Of course, right?
And the little kerosene, you turn them on, you know.
Not the way it used to be. There's no refrigerator in here.
You wouldn't need it if it's a fish house.
You wouldn't need it if there's a fish house. Yet there's central air. There is central air in the fish house, air conditioning, but there is no refrigerator. I just noticed that. I went, I was going to put some ice-cold beverages in a refrigerator, and there doesn't seem to be one. Yeah, see, you're going to go double check here, right? See? Yeah, there you go. F-Stop, ladies and gentlemen, is here, and Jerry Relph. Okay, fellas, we're going to give you the fair quiz. Are you ready?
Lay it on me.
Go for
Okay.
it.
Let's see here. Caramel corn or cotton candy?
Caramel corn, hands down.
Relph?
Absolutely. Same answer.
All right, let's see here. How about, I'll do the usual. I've been asking everybody, corn dog or turkey drumstick?
Drumstick.
Drumstick for Jerry?
I'm a corn dog guy. You know that, Ox.
Corn dog guy. Okay, very good. And then how about if you are in the exhibit center, right, in the Sports Arena East here, right?
Yep.
Would you see Jill at Cutco, or would you go to the Tupperware booth?
I was going to go see Jill.
Jill?
Likewise.
Cutco? All right.
She's
very good.
pretty sharp.
Oh, you're clever. All right. Just checking. I mean, those are kind of personality profiles. Finally, let's go to the Midway. Favorite ride on the Midway? F-Stop?
I don't do rides.
You don't do rides at all?
No, I don't.
How about as a little shaver? How about Little Brad?
I don't think,
Come on.
I probably made the Ferris wheel, but I really wasn't into rides.
Were you that deprived as a child?
I think you nailed it.
All right, Jerry?
Oh, I was the tilt-a-whirl.
Tilt-a-whirl guy.
Yeah.
All right, I had you pegged for a tilt-a-whirl guy.
I don't know how I want to be accused of spinning things, but
Nice, clever, very good. All right, Brett, so are you here officially at all, F-Stop?
I'm
or
not. I
taking
stopped
pictures?
by in between meetings, and I'm off to another volunteer meeting momentarily.
Okay. Did you register for the 60-inch TV?
I have not.
Okay, you're going to, though?
On my way out.
And vote for president?
Yes, sir.
All right, very good. You going to do any Pokemon hunting?
I'm not into that either. Thank you very much.
Hey, you're just not into anything. You are so,
I'm
a stick
just-
in the mud. No
I'm
fun
just-
whatsoever.
Boring.
Yeah, sure. That'll be the day. All right, well, thanks for coming over. Good to see you, sir.
I'm out of here.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Jerry Relph, that just leaves you and me, kid. So
Okay.
look out. I won't ask you any more tricky questions.
okay.
But are you at the Republican booth in here?
Yeah, I'll be there Saturday from 11 to 1, and I'll probably stick my nose in there tomorrow for a little while.
Okay.
And then as needed.
You were here yesterday.
I was here yesterday for a while.
All right. As you're talking to folks and as you're talking to the folks who've been manning the booth, are we hearing a bunch of people coming over excited about Donald Trump? Is anybody making threats? What are you hearing?
Well, to be honest with you, I'm more worried about the issues that I'm facing here in this district and trying to focus on that. There's it's in the air. People are talking, but I'm kind of focused on my race and trying to express my views and my values and just go from there.
And and that's really where I was going with that, because I keep getting asked from some of the locals, what are you hearing about the local races? And the media is so dominated by what people think of Donald Trump, either pro, against, whatever, that, what about all the things going on in the state of Minnesota and District 14 that you're running for?
Right.
It just seems to be getting drowned out.
It's taking the oxygen out of the room, and so I'm just concentrating on getting the message to people where I stand on the values, the things that are important to St. Cloud, and that's what I want to hear from people.
Well, as you're knocking on doors, which you're going to do, I think, later on today, you were telling me, what do you have, like a one sheet that you're handing out? What are some of the things that you're talking to folks about?
Sure, I have some literature, but transportation, I think it's important that we get this transportation situation straightened out. We've got existing roads and bridges that need to be fixed. I mean, that's got to be top priority. Then as we move down the line, I think we want to look at the possibility of bringing I-94 all the way here. I think that's important. I'd like
three lanes, obviously.
3 lanes, obviously. Mm-hmm. I'd like to see North Star if we can do it without spending a lot of money and breaking the bank. I think it would be a good thing, but at this point, it's got to be a pretty much budget neutral approach as far as I'm concerned.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, those are big things, certainly. Anything else in the I was going to say the 6th district. Anything else in the District 14 that's hot?
Well, there's 2 things. I think there's the education issue, and that ties into something that I think people don't really quite understand the relationship. We have jobs that are going wanting here in St. Cloud because we don't have people with the skill sets. Mm-hmm. Well, the education system can provide that if the people are able to learn. So one of my initiatives is to try and push for more English by the time people are out of 6th grade so they can read and support that. I'm supporting anything in the education system that helps to enhance that ability.
Wow.
And then to take and support both high school business partnerships so that the students can see what there is out there and maybe get a chance to find out, gee, I'd like to do that. Mm-hmm. And then have the technical college supported to provide. Not everybody needs a 4-year degree right away, or even needs one forever. We need plumbers, we need pipe fitters, we need painters and carpenters, or dental assistants and electricians. And those are all great jobs. And I support our technical college because they do such a good job training people for that. So I want to see more support for them.
How do you feel? Is anybody asking you about the special session that may or may not happen as you're looking from the outside in?
I think some people would like to see it. I think they'd like to see the job that didn't get done because of whatever circumstances there were, and there are several. I think we need to get the budget bill passed. I think we need to get the transportation bill passed. And as I said, one of the big issues I run into is transportation. I think it would be a help to get the stuff so that we can get these local projects going for St. Cloud. I think it's important. And if we don't have a special session, obviously that's going to be something that's on the top of my priority list.
One of the big hang-ups is the Southwest corridor, this light rail Southwest corridor thing. How, if you were in the Senate, would you soften on that? Would that be a compromise point?
At this point, the numbers, and I've studied the numbers some, and the numbers are pretty tough. I don't think that it's something that we necessarily rule out. I'm kind of person that just doesn't ever say never say never. Mm-hmm. On the other hand, there's got to be a pretty solid showing that there's obviously going to be some kind of an economic impact and an ongoing one, and we have to make the decision, does the cost benefit work? Mm-hmm. If we're going to subsidize rides, which public transportation is,
right,
and we have to recognize that public transportation is probably going to have some cost impact, so we have to make sure that we do that efficiently. And just to say we're going to throw money at something just doesn't work. So I can't say that I would absolutely never vote against it, but at this point in time, the numbers for me don't line up.
And the reason I bring it up, of course, is that, yes, it does not impact directly the 14th district here in the St. Cloud area, but it does, or it has been the linchpin for getting things done with the governor because he keeps insisting on it. So.
Right, and so that's something, if I'm down there, I have to look at. I have to be willing to talk about.
Jerry, I got to tell you, man, I lived in that area for a long time where that would be impacted by that Southwest rail. And you cannot tell me that those people that own those mansions, that own those pristine, classic houses in that amazing, unique lake area of the Minneapolis area, southwest of downtown, actually want train tracks running through their front lawns.
Yeah,
No way.
I agree with you.
Wow.
Yeah.
So there's another factor. I
Right.
can't believe those neighborhoods aren't just screaming.
Well, and rightly they should be looking at it. I mean, I think it's something that's very important.
Oh, I'd be scared to death.
Mhm.
Right? Anyway, but that's for those local senators and representatives to deal
Right.
with. But for sure. Anything else, Jerry? What else do we need to know about the campaign, man?
Well, it's going well. I've got, as I said, I've got some issues with health care. Obviously, as a veteran, I'm very concerned about the care that the veterans are receiving, and that anything as a state senator that I can do, primarily to facilitate that private government relationship, so that veterans, if they need care, and it either can't be delivered right away, or there's a situation where they need to get care at the local hospital, that we facilitate that process. So I'm very concerned about that, and that is something as a state senator I can have some impact on, and so I'm very concerned about that.
All right, Jerry Relph, candidate for Senate, with us here at the fair, at the Benton County Fair. Are you a resident of Benton County or?
No, I live in Stearns County.
Stearns County.
I live
right.
just right at the north end of St. Cloud, so so I'm actually about as far north as you can get in the district.
Got it. Okay, very good. Well, the Benton County Fair is a highlight, certainly, for all of us locals. If you're at the fair, we kind of get into a little of this, but if you walk into the fair, what's the first thing you do here?
What's the first thing I do?
Do you have a routine?
Not really.
Yeah. I don't either. By the way,
I just kind of walk in and look around, and just enjoy the exhibits and go see the people. I lived in a small town in southern Minnesota, and our state fair, or county fair, I'm sorry, was right in town. And so it was it was fun because it was right there. I could practically walk from my house to the fairgrounds. So my kids and I and my wife would actually walk over there almost every day of the fair.
Man, I tell you, I was lamenting yesterday. I was thinking back to 9/11/2001, and I was new in town at that time, and it was my first Benton County Fair. And I remember we sat here and did this broadcast, and to me it just seemed like an anachronism. I thought, wow, this is a small town county fair right here in the big city of St. Cloud, which it is a big city. I mean, it's a big metropolitan area. Even then, it was. And to see this pure exercise of Americana, if you will, right here in town, and then to have 9/11 happen, a month later.
Right.
I remember shortly after 9/11 thinking back to the Benton County Fair and thinking, we'll never have that fair again. I don't know what the world's going to be like, but we'll never be able to do that like we did. And here it's been 15 years later, and we're still doing it. Wow.
I want to say one thing about the 9/11. There is an exhibit here that people should come to see. It's called Tunnels to Towers, and it talks about a particular act of heroism that took place during 9/11. And suffice it to say, the exhibit is worth seeing. It's very well stated. I got fortunate to get a tour of it early on. And the story is one that I don't know if you've already told on the radio here, but it's well worth telling about the young fellow who ran through the tunnel underneath the East River with his gear, 70 or 80 pounds of fireman's gear, because he couldn't get through the tunnel in his car, and later was killed when the towers collapsed when he was helping people. And it's just a true hero's story.
Well, we've got some folks coming over here before the show's over today to talk to us about their exhibit right here. So we're in a great location here, are we not? This is awesome.
So anyway, I just wanted to say that it's something everybody should see.
Amen, brother. All right, Jerry, thank you. Jerry Relph, candidate for Senate. Get back out there.
All right. Well, thank you, Dan.
Thanks for coming over. Good to see you here at the Benton County Fair. Everybody is welcome, an open door policy, and the fact that Gary Zimmerman just walked in is proof positive of that. Because obviously if we don't refuse him service, we're not going to refuse anybody service, if you know what I'm saying. We'll talk to Gary, see if he's lined us up the guests that he was promising here. He's going to bring over some girls at 2:52, 8 in front of 3 o'clock. We're live at the Benton County Fair on KNSI's Ox in the Afternoon.